Hello and welcome to Gank That Drank. A supernatural drinking game podcast. This is Season 1, Episode 10. The penultimate Season 1 episode.
Whoop.
Provenance and Dead Man's Blood.
Of course, in every episode of Gank That Drank, we assign ourselves each 2 drinking game rules, at least. And we play along with 2 episodes minimum or maximum of the magical, mystical, occasionally musical, and muscular television show Supernatural.
Yeah, after we watch and play along, we will discuss the episodes while tipsy and evaluate the rules we played in our quest to curate for you the perfect Supernatural Season 1 drinking game. I am Krissy.
And I am Nate.
And tonight we're watching episode 19, Provenance. Aired April 3rd, 2006. 3.6 million viewers. And Dead Man's Blood. Vampires, y'all. April 20th, 2006. 3.9 million viewers.
So many vampire takes are going to happen.
Vampire takes?
Yeah, like hot takes about vampires.
Okay, good. Yeah. I didn't know what vampire takes were.
Spoilers and all that, guys.
Yeah,
just
you
spoilers.
know. You get it.
Yeah, you know what's
get it.
going on by now.
What?
And if you don't, you should have known.
Yeah, it's fine. Everybody's fine.
Yeah.
What rules are we playing in tonight?
Okay, I am playing pop culture number 1, which is when one brother doesn't get it. We played this in episode 1. So, yeah, I guess if they make a pop culture reference and they don't get it,
you take a drink, yeah. I'm also playing Awesome Pun. You get to rate the pun on a scale of 1 to 5, and that's how many drinks I take. This also we played in episode 3, Bloody Mary and Skin. I pulled all the episode 3 rules randomly.
Well, I pulled episode 1 rule again. What happened? Mention Mom and Jess 3 drinks. This was one I came up with when we played in episode 1, so we get the mention of what happened. And
didn't we play that one in episode 8?
Yeah,
as well?
I think so, but it didn't hit. It never hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're both playing Take 2 Drinks if Sam and Dean argue.
And I actually am playing an extra rule of this one because I don't think these 2 are going to hit very well. So one that I'm pretty sure will probably hit is the Boys Flash a Badge.
Yeah.
So I think the combo of those 3 should be solid.
Okay.
And then the one we were both playing.
And we're still drinking because it's the same day as episode 9. We're still drinking the Bloody Mary mix,
yes.
which is extra appropriate to be paired with Dead Man's Blood.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Very exciting.
So very exciting.
just it's day drinking and it's supernatural and it's a Saturday.
It is
somewhere in time.
Just keep in the back of your mind when you're listening to the second half of this episode, we will have watched both the episodes and played along with them immediately after playing along with the episode 9 episodes.
Yeah.
So this might be the gankiest of all of our drankiest.
Wow. We're off to a great start.
Okay, here we go. We'll see you on the other side. And we're back.
Woo!
Okay. Do you want to do Provenance or Dead Man's Blood?
I'll do Provenance.
Okay.
Because I like that one slightly more.
Yeah.
A lot more.
It's better.
So Provenance is one of the creepier episodes of Supernatural.
It's one of my favorites.
Especially, it's a really good one because we get a killer painting.
Killer paintings.
Yeah. So Provenance begins.
Not Rhode Island.
Not Rhode Island. Provenance. We start with it kills the guy, this rich guy who.
It's a couple.
It's a couple. Yeah, it kills him and his wife.
They're like a sassy, super rich couple
who live in a house that it takes 10 minutes to set all the alarms because he says, "Go up to bed. I got to set all the alarms. It'll be 10 minutes."
And this couple's idea of a good time is like, let's go to an auction. Let's buy a gross painting of people we don't know and we've never met. Let's hang it right away.
Immediately.
Then I'm going to put on sexy lingerie. Mm-hmm. You're going to set all the alarms, and we are going to take this to the bone zone.
And before they can get to said bone zone, murdered by we don't know who yet.
We don't know who yet.
But we eventually will. So our boys end up at the auction house where they are not welcome because they are not dressed properly.
No.
They are drinking all the wine and eating all the apps and zerts.
Sam. Her Dean is like... This is one of those moments where Sam is trying so hard to like keep it profesh, and Dean is just like stuffing quiche into his mouth.
One of my favorite Dean tropes is Dean eating. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite Dean tropes. I just had to say,
he's Brad Pitt.
He is the Brad Pitt of the show, and he's like always eating. And like one of my favorite episodes, which is I think season 2, is the where he pretends to be the what is it? Not movie producer, but he pretends to be like one of the movie people working in the movie, and he's always eating at craft services. Like I just love that trope so much of Dean eating. So Dean is eating all the apps and zerts.
You should make that a drinking game rule.
We should, yeah, absolutely. Dean eating, and but Sam falls kind of hard for the auction girl. Mm-hmm. She's the daughter of the father who kicks them out of the auction. Mm-hmm. And Abe Froman is not allowed into the auction. That was a Ferris Bueller reference. Anyway,
we know.
And so this painting then, even though it comes back, they're like, how can you sell this to someone else? Well, guess what? They sell it to someone else.
They burn it. Sam and Dean break in and they burn it.
But then it reappears.
And it just reappears.
Because it's the spirit that's haunted. It is we find out it's the little girl. They think the whole time that it's this father figure who got accused of murdering his whole family.
That's the story.
Back in the day. And then we've come to find out it's not the father. It's actually a little girl who murdered all the family in their sleep. And through a bunch of trial and error and a lot of will they, won't they between Sam and Sarah Blake, the daughter of the auction owner. A lot of tension there. And they basically try to kill it. Now, we get a scene. We get them digging up the bones of the old man.
They dig him up. They salt and burn him. He's trying to help
after
them.
They already went to a mausoleum.
Mm-hmm. Well, they find out that because everybody believed that the dad was responsible for the murders, that they didn't have him cremated and put in the mausoleum. They had him
in a pauper's grave,
which Sam and Dean find. They dig. They salt and burn the bones. Right. Sarah's hanging with them the whole time. The whole time.
She's totally down for the mausoleum.
She's like their Diet Coke Castiel in this episode.
Yes, she is. And she's down. She salts and burns the body. And then there's something that happens then after they salt and burn it that she gets really incredulous about. And
she wants to go just check out the painting and make sure that
they want to.
The job is done.
And she's like,
I'm coming too.
Why are you doing? She's like, I'm coming too. And he's like, oh, that's right. He gets incredulous. He's like, why would you do that? I'm like, she's already watched you burn a dead body. Why would you be surprised? Because Dean
she's
is
down to clown. Yeah, like she wants to hang out and be a part of this.
And they don't ever bring her back, do they?
No.
I wish that's a great character. Mm-hmm. She's super awesome. Mm-hmm. And Sam falls for her hard. So they go back in and check the painting, and of course then the little girl is missing, and Sam and Sarah get locked inside the house, and Dean is outside the house, and we see this whole kind of scene where they have to fight the little girl.
Yeah, and so Sarah tells them, oh, we used to handle dolls at the auction house, and Sammy's like,
a lot of good that does.
Great story. Thanks, Sarah.
Super snarky.
Fun fact. And she's like, no. They used to make the dolls with the hair of the little girls.
Although, to be fair, in that instant, she needs to get to the point, not give the whole backstory.
Yeah, that's a low context. Yeah. Just tell them. So Dean zips over to the mausoleum and burns the doll, and that saves the day.
Yeah. So, super awesome episode. Has nothing to do with any of the overarching season arc. It's just a Monster of the Week, but it's super, super fun. It's a great episode.
It is.
And it's got a good twist at the end because the whole time you think it is the dad because you see the painting move and it's the spirit. And it actually is it's so funny because there's two spirits in it. Mm-hmm. You have the spirit that still inhabits the painting of the dad who is warning everyone about the little girl. And then you have the spirit of the little girl that kills everyone. So it's kind of a dual spirit painting.
Yeah, okay. So I found myself thinking about science during this episode because they're trapped in the house with the little girl. And they're like, iron or salt. That's how you keep vengeful spirits away, iron or salt. So there has to be some kind of science behind, like, ghosts are made of this type of ion and it's repelled by iron or salt. There has to be, like, some science fact there, you know?
Yeah. But
don't listen to me.
Spirits.
Okay, but there's rules. Like, there's rules they have to follow. They don't just get to do whatever they want. So if she's a vengeful spirit and she's allowed to exist in this realm because her hair still exists, so it's tying her to the mortal world. Right. How does the painting fit into that? Unless they, like, used their blood in the paint, that's on a later episode of Supernatural.
They didn't actually get rid of the painting. Remember, at the end, she says you need to burn the painting. But
it's how do we know that's even going to work? Like, what is the
because they already burned her hair, which is the science that they've agreed upon as the remains.
Okay, but then how does the fucking painting work?
I don't know how the man's spirit is trapped in there. The father's spirit. That's what we don't know.
A lot of splaining to do in this episode about science. Okay, but here's what we did get. Finally.
Broken furniture.
No, a fucking Eric Kripke Easter egg.
Yes, that's right.
It finally happened. I knew there was one in this episode. I think there are others that we missed, but as they're panning across all the beautiful fancy cars in the parking lot of the auction house, one of them says the Crip. So there it is. And then, like, the Impala, which is a beautiful vintage car, which would fit right in. It's just, like, a little dirty.
I don't know if it would fit right in that crowd.
You could see a Richie Rich being like, I have this beautiful vintage car.
Not with an Impala.
But it's beautiful.
It'd be like, I have this vintage Aston Martin. I have this
Okay, fine. We also get Dean ogling women in this one.
Yes.
We get Sam being referred to as reasonably attractive. They have a disco-themed room.
Oh, gosh.
So I have a suggestion, which is that whenever they're staying in a disco, not...
Finish your drink.
No. But double. If in that
right.
episode they're staying in a hilarious themed motel room, all of the amounts are double.
Yes.
Which we didn't do, but I think it's a good idea.
It's good. It's a very good idea.
Okay, here's the other question I had. They say that he's a barber.
The richest barber in the world.
Yeah, how does he have money for a fancy fucking portrait and a doll made of her hair and a mausoleum?
And a mansion. I just imagine this portrait being hung in a mansion. Mm-hmm. We don't know for certain, but yeah, I mean...
And I just, like... Sam needs to be like, you are my girlfriend now. Let's get married. You totally understand. She wants to hang out and solve these mysteries.
So if this episode, at this point in the trajectory of the show, but let's put it in like a 20... even 16, 17, 18 context. Mm-hmm. She would be a great addition to the team.
Yeah.
In season 1, add that character, add Sarah to this team, make it a trio. Mm-hmm. Because she was so down to clown with these guys as far as like hunting and everything.
She knows shit about antiques. Like she could really add. So I was envisioning a spinoff of Sarah, where she just like works in the antique house, and every so often a haunted thing comes through her, and now she knows because she met Sam and Dean, she knows how to recognize the signs, she knows how to dispatch all this haunted shit. So let's bring her back. And she's like, for all of these years that we haven't checked back in with her, she has been fighting the good fight, killing all these antique bad things, and she's just gonna be like, yeah, here's what's up, here's what time it is, I now know more than you, right? Because I knew more than you to begin with. And let's do this. And then she and Sam get married.
Yeah, she's a great character, and I wish they would have kept with her because that would have been awesome. Yeah. Especially coming at the end of season 1. Mm-hmm. It would have been the perfect time to put her in there. And I'm not saying it would have been a 12-season character, But it could have been a minute.
Yeah.
Could have been a few seasons.
Even if just she stays where she is, her dad dies. She now runs the antique place. They go to her from time to time when they need help with something. Yeah. Meanwhile, she's also fighting bad things as they come across her desk.
Right.
Anyway.
It should be the same as, I forget who the name of the prophet guy that we get later on in Supernatural.
Are you talking about Carver Enlund?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I know.
He's the only prophet you've met so far, right?
Only prophet I've met so far. But like we get those characters that they come back to once, and I would have loved.
His pen name is Carver Enlund. His name is Chuck.
Yeah. So I wish they would. I wish that would have happened. But anyway, this episode is a great one. It's a creepy
really
episode. Good. It's a great monster of the week. Watch it. It has nothing to do with anything else.
Nope.
No man tears. No backstories.
Well, you get some Sammy man tears, and here's where you get our lesson learned. It comes both in this episode. Both of our lessons learned come from characters in the show. So the lesson learned is from Sarah herself, who says that it's total bullshit that Sammy doesn't want to take a chance and possibly have a relationship with her because he's been hurt before. She says pretty plain as day, like, okay, that's bullshit. You still need to take chances. You still have to take risks because, maybe you won't feel that pain again, but you won't feel any happiness either. Like, so she gives us our lesson learned.
She says, tomorrow I could get hit by a bus.
Yeah.
My response was, go buses.
Yeah, I thought that was weird, Nate. So you get a little bit of Sammy being like, well, I've been hurt before. I can't possibly take a risk. And she's just like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
You got to live your life.
Yeah.
So lesson learned on that one.
Absolutely.
Okay. Dead man's blood.
Oh.
So we both started this episode and we're like, ugh, dead man's blood. This is the vampire episode. I hate this episode. This is skippable. I wish we didn't have to watch it now. But
super watchable.
We forgot
to watch.
that you have to watch this episode. And here's why. So basically, we start out with an old hunter, a salty old hunter at the bar, just going over his journal. And he gets tortured and captured by a group of vampires. Vampires. Nosferatu. And Sam and Dean find out. They're like, Elkins, I know that name. Like, this is something. We have to go check it out. Well, Dad just hops in their back fucking seat. And he's like, yeah, no, you guys don't know Elkins? He taught me everything I know. Oh, sorry, I never mentioned him to you, and you never knew where I was any of the times he was teaching me everything I need to know. His whole scheme was to wipe out vampires, and I just always think it's hilarious anytime anyone on Supernatural, and it's almost always Dean, is like, vampires, that's not a thing. Everything's a fucking thing. Yeah. Don't ever be surprised by anything. Okay, so we see the cult for the first time.
Woo,
Elkins has it. Yeah. The cult. So Dad's like, we gotta, right now, boop, 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 let's go, boys. We gotta get that gun.
John had to have had a suspicion that he had it.
I think so. But he says, that son of a bitch had it this whole time.
Yeah.
So John is like, do as I say, boys. We got to get this gun. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you literally anything about literally anything. Do as I say. You can come with me now because I'm going to use you as tools. Meanwhile, the vampires are doing vampire things, and like supernatural vampires don't follow any of the traditional vampire rules. The only important vampire supernatural thing is that dead man's blood makes them sick.
And you got to chop off their heads.
Yeah.
To kill them. But I find it so interesting. They make vampires in Supernatural so sympathetic.
They really do. Like even the main vampire Luther. So vampires mate for life, just like penguins. Yeah. And the main vampire Luther is like, why are you doing this to us? We have as much right to live as you. Okay. Supernatural, as we go on, does a actually really good job of making some types of monsters seem like, hey, I'm not that different from you. Why can't I live? I'm trying to make a path for myself.
In an almost Whovian way.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way they do it. And this isn't the first time that we will feel sympathy for a nest of vampires, because that come later on in other episodes where you encounter him, you definitely feel like sympathy for him. So this is so I think it is a fun introduction to the supernatural vampire lore.
I just wish that they didn't. Here's how you be more sympathetic. Don't all dress like you're in a Bon Jovi cover band. Like,
it was the times.
Whatever.
It was the time.
Whatever.
But
so we learn a little bit about the cult. A teensy, tiny little bit about the cult. Most of what I think is significant in this episode. I'm like trying to hide the fact that we've been like drinking all day, and I don't know why. It's like,
what's the point of it?
So we're 2 episodes. Like, this is our second episode we're recording today. Anyway, is the fights? Is the Dan? There's no Dan. Dad, Sam, and Dean, their interactions, because they really are all over the map. You got Dean being like, shut up, let's do as Dad says. Dad being like, shut up and do as I say. Sam being like, no, I need to know why. You have to explain yourself to me. I'm not a child and I won't blindly follow your orders. Then you get the really sweet side where he's like, do you know why I was so upset when you went to college? Because I was just so afraid that you would be hurt. And like at some point, I just got numb and I became your drill sergeant as a way to keep you safe instead of wanting you to have a life and be your dad. I'm so sorry. This beautiful moment. And then literally 2 seconds later, he's like, fuck you. You cannot come with me to kill the demon, which the cult is going to be the main tool for. I tell you what, this rewatch through, I really dislike Dad in a major way. And I've never felt that way before. I could always sort of sympathize with him before. And now like, no, I see Sam's point. Sam's correct. Dad is really being a selfish jerk.
Yeah, but I can also see where the life events would drive John into this sort of decision-making mode of, I've lost my wife to... And keep in mind, to something that he still doesn't fully understand and doesn't know what it is that he is after or dealing with. Like, that's the thing, is you can have the context that you have now of everything that's going to happen, but at that point, he doesn't know exactly what it is, and so he, due to the unfamiliar, is trying to protect his boys just because he doesn't know what's going to happen. He doesn't know what he's actually up against. He knows it's a demon, but he doesn't know the extent to what is happening.
But it's such bullshit to say, you're all I've got. You're the most important thing. It would literally break me if I ever lost you. I just don't ever want to see you. I don't want to be a part of your life. Let's never hang out. I don't want to experience you as a human being who I have a relationship with. Just as long as I know that you're alive and I never have to talk to you. That's what keeps me going.
Except
That's
for
bullshit.
Vague text messages with coordinates.
Yeah.
It's the only time we're going to talk. There's no Thanksgiving dinner.
I mean, if you love someone that much, I don't see how you could literally bear not to be with them.
Some people are wired different.
Whatever.
People are wired different. So, good episode. Watch it.
Yeah, and I think the lesson learned in this one comes from Luther the vampire when he says, revenge isn't worth much if you end up dead.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
and
a
I can't
great
believe
lesson.
This is the first time we're really meeting other hunters. Like, he never told the kid... Like, also, we talked about this a little bit. We haven't met Bobby Singer yet.
Mm-mm.
But we're supposed to believe simultaneously that the boys don't know at this point that any other hunters exist. And yet Bobby theoretically has raised them.
Yeah. And...
We're just skipping ahead wildly.
You would have had to have known, like, they had to have known that other hunters existed, just on everything that goes on that ends up happening, right? Because we haven't met Ellen and Joe yet, but we will soon. Mm-hmm. And
Ash.
They know them, right? They know them already.
You're John's boys, yeah.
So at a bar that is known as a hangout for hunters.
You know, I get it. Like, this is the first season. They have to go back and sort of retcon things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, both of these episodes are must watches.
Do you think maybe we are judging a show that was written in not a very different time, but in a time where the 23 episode or 24 episode seasons, where it followed the typical calendar of TV watching, right, with the fall and the winter. When we are now accustomed to these very cinematic, these TV shows that are written for Netflix, for Hulu, for the streaming services, to be bingeable, to where when they write them in season, they write them very canonly. They write where they don't break their own rules. They establish these rules where, when
this was 2006.
Right, 2006, this aired. Well, by 2007 or 8, when seasons 2, 3, 4 are airing, they're like, people aren't gonna remember. They're not gonna be able to go back and watch our first season, except on reruns.
I think Kripke has said that he didn't envision the show going past to season 5, and now we're almost 3 times that. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to rewrite history, but it's fine. I get it.
It's all good.
Okay, so our drinking game rules. The boys never flashed a badge in either episode.
Nope.
Pop culture references where one brother doesn't get it happened twice. And we counted the Sammy's art reference. Awesome pun never happened. Outdated tech happened 5 times, but that's just because they use their cell phones, and their cell phones are by
the
rule.
Laptop counts too.
Yeah. And I don't know.
It's outdated.
And then Sam and Dean argue happened 6 times.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, that happens every episode.
They're always arguing.
Or they have a discussion where one of them does research, the other one questions it, and then the other one convinces them.
There's always yelling.
Always.
Okay, so what else? Is there anything else that we didn't talk about? And what happened to Mom and Jess? You played this one. This is a 3-drink rule, and it happened 3 fucking times in these 2 episodes. What? Like, you just luck of the draw, man, because we played that rule in episode 6, and it happened twice. It's just, it doesn't happen a lot. It just happened in these episodes.
But I think as we end near the end of season 1 here, it's going to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Because we get to the fun stuff.
All right. Well, next, on our next episode of Gank That Drank, we're going to be watching the last 2 episodes of season 1. It's our last episode. After that, we'll be really summing it up and creating those drinking game rules. The episodes are Salvation and Dead Man's Trap. And we're going to be playing along with new drinking game rules, so be sure to join us.
Of course.
And also, what did you think of this Bloody Mary margarita mix?
I thought it was good. I feel, we definitely should have shaken that thing up more because it got a little sludgy at the end. It got
spicier and chunkier as the day went on.
But overall, I thought it had good flavor, and should have doctored it more. I always add ingredients to my Bloody Marys typically. I feel like I needed a little more spicy. Personally.
Okay, so next time you can make a different one. As my first Bloody Mary, I'll say, it was good. I don't think it would be my go-to drink. This is not going to be my, Sunday night, it's time for me to just unwind, pour me a Bloody Mary. But I could see getting, really hoity-toity at, a fancy hipster brunch and being yes, bring me that bacon Bloody Mary.
Yes, and they're typically, like I said, this, as far as I would rate it, a 6 out of 10 on the Bloody Mary scale. So I'm a little disappointed this was your first Bloody Mary experience. But overall, as far as Bloody Mary mixes go, pretty good.
Pretty good.
And but if you have a suggestion for...
And what was the name of it? I'm sorry.
El Choco Flaco?
Okay, that's fine. Never mind. I'll cut that out.
If you have a suggestion for a drinking game rule or maybe a cocktail, send it to us. And if you played along, let us know how it went. Comment on the blog at mostexcellentpod.com or join and comment on our Most Excellent Facebook group.
As always, you can find out more on mostexcellentpod.com. And if you're in the Phoenix area, you can find Krissy and Nate IRL at the National Comedy Theater, which is nctphoenix.com. Thanks for listening. Remember your Gank That Drank lessons learned. Put yourself out there. Take risks. And revenge isn't worth much if you end up dead.
Solid. Just both of them.
We'll see you next time. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.